Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Headkicks and Haymakers. I am Bodkins, and of course, joined with me every Wednesday night is none other than my brother from another mother, Wit. Wit, what's good, my man?
What's going on, bro? How you feeling tonight, big guy?
Man, I am ecstatic after those Saturday night fights. Whit, I don't know where we start. I guess we can start right back from where we left off, right when we left off air. I think I texted you right after that and was like, hey, Ian Gary is out. I'm okay. That fight is off. Ian is sick. Initial thought was like, oh man, that sucked, but bumped up that Bryce Mitchell and Emmett on the main card. And we can, I don't know. Let's go back to the presser. Then we got to start at the presser. We get into the presser. General Covington, Colby comes in.
I'm taking you back to 1776.
Yes, he talks all the shit, and then obviously says he's going to take Leon to hell to meet his dad. Thoughts on that initially, first, Whit, before we move into the further week.
First off, let's start off the week by saying this, man. I really liked 296 as a whole. You know what I'm saying? But when we go take it a step back and we look at what happened, man, we like controversy. Everybody in the fight game likes a little controversy. Everybody likes to stir the pot a little bit, to kind of get the juices flowing about that. But I'm not bringing up nobody's past dead daddy. Now, this is the alleged truth is that his Leon Edwards' father was a gangster in England and was Jamaica, right, and was a participant in X trafficking.
Yeah,
put an S and an E in front of X, and you know what I'm talking about. So I know that is kind of like a negative connotation, which is what Colby was trying to represent. But when it's like a large blank and you just throw in like you're going to go to hell with your dad, like it just made it all the more worse. I don't care what my dad did. Don't you talk about him.
Yeah. I'm all for trash talking. I'm probably a big proponent of it. I love it. But there's three things I feel like
you do it in real life.
Yeah. You don't talk about is, religion, somebody's family. Those are always off limits. You want to say, Leon's a boring ass fighter or this and that and all this stuff, but then you can't be mad, then you can't cross the line because that, once you say that, then it gets personal. And Leon said it was personal. And we'll just go ahead and jump right into that. Were you surprised by that fight? Colby did talk all that shit. And then, that did not, it didn't look like Colby Covington in there. What the Colby that, puts the pace on, tried to grapple. But Leon, he just was on his back foot. Leon put the press on him.
Yeah, man, it was somewhat of a double-edged sword because I think that, Colby used the presser to his advantage. And I think and this is just my opinion, of course, because we don't know, speculation. I think that Leon was so amped because you saw how he was at the end of the fight.
Well, he said he was. He said he was so, after that, he said it took his team and his mom and everybody to calm him down.
Yeah, I think that everything that built up, all of that anger, he had to dial it down so much that it almost took him out of what I would consider to be his plan, you know what I mean? Like his game plan to go into the ring and maybe execute. Now, don't get me wrong. We saw by round two, I feel like it kicked in a little bit. We saw a lot of the leg kicks. We saw the classic Leon Edwards, pace where he stayed in the middle of the ring, kept his back towards the middle of the ring, and Colby, kind of did a lot of the shuffling around. But
Colby was on his back foot the whole fight, up until maybe the fifth round.
And then, like we say, styles make fights, and we expected Colby to wrestle, and we got to see some of that in the later third, the fourth and fifth round, and it was almost a little too late to in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Colby thought he won rounds 4, and 5. I think he was delusional. I'd have gave him round 5. He kind of ended that round with on top of Leon, but nonetheless, like he thought he won, and he did not. He looked like, I think Dana White even said he looked old and slow.
Yeah.
And if he was supposed to be this cardio king, you thought he would press the pace. Leon would be on his back foot. So to me, like him fighting on his back foot, he respected Leon's power and his precision. Two things that Leon's known for: his slick boxing.
Man, listen. Now this, and we watched it. I watched it. We were texting back and forth. Something I didn't mention, and I saw it when I watched a replay of it. You got to give Colby Covington some points for the reversals. He was caught in what I would think is like a darts choke, and literally 360 in Leon's arms to get out of it. That's skill. That's some skill right there. Another time, I want to say he was trying to get Leon, almost had him in the arm bar, and that's when we saw the reverse happen, and all of a sudden,
Leon even did some nice reversals himself. He even said, like, hey, I wanted to show him, like, I can wrestle too. And Leon kind of took some, to me during some exchanges was a little bit unnecessary risk, but I get the reason for it,
I think it was one of those moments where he's trying to get him out of there. So look, I'm going to put him in the choke. I'm going to try it, but taking him out of his game, like we said, with the anger and the press conference, I think I wanted to see more of the stand-up Leon. You know what I mean? More of the jab hand. Almost Max Holloway-ish, but like 20 times better. You know what I mean? I wanted to see that from Leon Edwards over the weekend. But
I just wanted to see it. I wanted to see a headshot killed, after what Colby said. But we did. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. What is Colby? Do you think? What is Colby's next move? Because he called out Wonder Boy after that fight. I think that's because he knows that's a fight he can win. It's funny he didn't say Shavkat Rakhmonov. We'll talk about Shavkat in a minute. But what's next for Colby? Or do we even see Colby? Chael Sonnen was on MMA Hour today, and he kind of said we don't even know if we'll ever see Colby again.
Man, listen, this is one of those epidemics where unfortunately, we saw a fighter 2 years ago. What's going on, Daniel, man? Nice, I'm saying? Appreciate you in the comments. What's going on, Bo, my brother? LK's in the building. This is one of those episodes of life where 2 years ago was Colby Covington's time, and he stayed away from mixed martial arts. And now the tables have turned. There are other fighters so far ahead of him in the game that it's going to be hard for him to repeat. Now, Dana White said, oh, yeah, we might just, I might just throw him in there. Now, what do we want to see? Shavkat take him out and then it's over with?
Yeah.
So. I would like to see that personally.
I would too. Just go ahead and end let Shavkat end the career that is Colby Covington.
Basically, I mean,
if it's Colby Covington that showed up Saturday night to fight Leon, he will get murdered by Shavkat. But I propose this. Hey, don't do welterweight. Go down to 155. You got some history with some guys there. Michael Chandler was talking shit about him. So why not do him and Chandler? Why not, him and Dustin Poirier hate each other. Right. He's got some history. So why, Colby's already a small 170. He would be the perfect 155er to me.
I mean, it's one of those things where how much work is he willing to put in to cut that 20 pounds? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a little harder when you're 35, 36 to cut that weight. But you got a great point. Michael Chandler, awesome fight. I can't wait till one day see him fight freaking Conor McGregor. One day before I'm 50.
Well, I think 2024, when we do a preview of 2024, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but like you said, man, there's some guys. If you want to talk about Dustin, I would love to see that. We throw Gaethje out there. That would be a great one. But somewhere in there, if you want to do like a title eliminator for Shavkat, you throw Colby to the Wolves, and we just see a dog play with a rag doll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just tear that up.
And what do you think's next for Leon? I believe it has to be Bilal. Bilal's waited his time. He's got a 10-fight winning streak. Just beat Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns his last 2 times out. To me, it's got to be Bilal. It doesn't seem like Leon's really interested in that. I just think Leon knows that fight don't sell. Bilal's not it's funny his name's remember the name because nobody would remember his name because that's how boring Bilal is. So I call him nobody remembers your name, Bilal.
Listen, man, when you put it up there and you talk about it out loud, it's not exciting when I'm like, hey, who wants to see French Montana fight? You know what I mean? I mean that's kind of how I have to picture it in my mind because nothing's really exciting about just saying it. Now, okay, Gilbert Burns, no. Definitely not going to throw Gilbert out there.
His coach talked about Gilbert today. Said Gilbert brings a lot more to the table, but Gilbert's got.
I would want to see Gilbert fight one more time before he goes for the title.
Well, at least he's fighting JDM in 299.
Okay, and look, of course, when we look down further among the ranks, it's not too many people that we can say right now is worth our the viewers' time to fight Leon. So do we see the Rachmaninoff title eliminator with maybe Kobe Covington? I think so. That makes a little more sense than the next time we see Leon is in the middle of 2024, summertime, maybe in England, maybe in Wembley, or someplace hot like that, and we let the dogs go for that one, man.
Yeah, so I think you're right. It should be Bilal. I think we're kind of on the same page. There isn't really a fight now. Shout out to my guy Kenny Miller. He proposed this fight. He said Islam said 170. He would fight him. That's probably the most exciting fight. Islam versus Leon, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Islam move up to 170 yet, just due to the fact that he's only had like one title defense, and that was against Volk. So I don't really want to see. I don't want to see that him move up just to mess with the 155ers because there's still a lot of fights out there for him. But it's not that I think Leon knows, and that's why he's kind of no selling Bilal. Is just that nobody really wants to see that fight because Bilal's not a marketer person. So in the co-main, we had Alexander Pantoja. You got that one right. I mean, just a masterclass. It was a decision fight. Royval's tough, but it just Pantoja was never any trouble here.
And listen, man, when we talk about 296 in a year from now and what happened, to be honest with you, the more exciting fight to me visually, I was excited to see Leon and Kobe, but what excited me was Pantoja Royval. And to be honest, man, these little guys go out there, man, they got a lot of heart. The cardio's going, and they're not playing with one another.
Flyweights are some of the best fights to watch. You're gonna like high level, boxing and high level MMA.
Most definitely. I mean, Pantoja. When we think about how he's come out there, and of course, we've seen him on multiple occasions take on the likes of my guy, Moreno, of course. But now seeing him fight somebody else like Royval, I think I got his juices flowing. Like, it's not Moreno. Yes. And then finally it went to the ground. Now let's keep it real. Brandon Royval stood tall in this match. And I said maybe last week, every once in a while we're going to talk about a loser in a fight and we're going to big him up. I got to give it up to Brandon Royval, man. I mean, he wasn't a pushover. He did not go out there and leave his chin in the air. When he got on the ground, he gave Pantoja like all he could really stand for. I really like this fight, in essence of it was it. Now the women, if you watch the prelims, the women got the fight of the night for sure.
Oh yeah, Aldana and what's her name?
I was just looking at it because I was like, man, that if you watched anything about the prelims for 296, it was Irene Aldana and Carol Rosa. Yeah, kudos to the ladies, man, because I'm telling you that, you don't got to see blood and guts every time you watch UFC, but definitely this was one of those. That was one of those ones. But back to the co-main, straight up and down, man. Brandon Royval gave him everything. Shout out to James, man. I appreciate you. And Pantoja, look, he's a champ for a reason. There's not very many that can stand with him because he does have hands, but there's not very many that can also combat his jiu-jitsu on the ground, man. His back on the ground is dangerous, and Roy Vall gave him everything he could stand for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And then the other fight we were kind of talking about, Shavkat, I told you, I mean, we had it just second round, choked out Wonder Boy. First time Wonder Boy's ever been choked out in his career, which, Wonder Boy's been around a long time. That's hard to do.
I just kept thinking in my, and the thing is, when you, like, I don't know if you've ever been on a job and watched somebody like come in and do the job really good, and then you're like, damn, what is he doing? What did he do? Did he just do it too? And I literally I was watching it, and because what happened, if you remember, they were on the ground and he didn't have it. He did not have the choke. And Wonder Boy's trying to move, he's trying to get out of it. And then next thing you know, you see that other arm come from out of nowhere. And I really don't think it was the choke. I feel like he was about to break Wonder Boy's jaw.
I thought so too.
Tight. I think he was about to pop his jaw out of socket, is what it really turned out to be. But as soon as he grabbed that other arm, I was like, oh, that's it. I don't even know where that other arm came from. But as soon as he put that lock in, Wonder Boy, and Wonder Boy, once again, we talked about it on the other show, man. Wonder Boy's no slouch. He's somebody that you got to see in that division every time. But that naked choke, bro, I don't know where that left hand came from. But when he put that hand on that elbow, it was a wrap.
Yeah, it was. I told you, I think Shavkat's the future welterweight champion. I was having this discussion in like a Discord, and somebody said they think they're like Leon he'll beat Bilal and then he'll beat Shavkat. I said, no, there's no way. I said, if Shavkat he's won a win way. I think he's the best welterweight in the world right now. That's just my opinion. And he's still young, 18-0, 18 finishes with. I mean, the guy just does not, it's crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy, the things that he can do. He can do it on his feet and on the ground. And then you find out he had, almost pulled out of the fight. He had real bad ankle problems 3 weeks into the fight. So this is a guy who could barely even walk.
Listen, man, I just call it the Hun special, man, because I'm telling you, it was one of those moments where when he was talking and like, I think I put it on Twitter, man. I got that vision of like, Mulan and the Huns coming over the mountain. Like I was like, yeah, he's got that vibe, bro. But seriously, I really, once again, I watched that fight. That was one of the ones we talked about. I had to keep my eye on. Wonder Boy is not a slouch. He definitely kept his karate into the fight. But as soon as that ground fight turned into Shavkat, standoff, it was a wrap. So I'm excited to see him moving forward. And like you said, I think there's one fight in between because, of course, Bilal. They got to do Bilal Leon 2, of course. And then if there's one fight in between, the next best thing, especially if it's still Leon, it's got to be Leon Shavkat.
Yeah. I think Shavkat should either get, if Usman stays if he comes back down to 170, who knows? Give him, him and Shavkat. Usman's number one rank in the rankings. Or give him Colby. I don't think either one of those guys want to fight him. So that's what up, Vegas?
Benchwarmers, what's up?
And so, I don't think that either one of them want to fight Shavkat. I don't think anybody wants to fight him. That's how high I think this guy is.
I think I'll throw this out there. Usman is one of those cats where he's somewhere in shape. He's wearing Nigerian paint on the weekend. He will come in and say, man, for my country, I'll fight him. I'm not scared of nobody.
Yeah, I agree, but he fought the fight. He took the Hamzat fight on short notice. So I can't say. Yeah, I can't say that.
He gave Hamzat Chimaev all he could stand. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, really, if that round goes, if it's 5-round fight, I think Usman wins it.
Yeah, definitely. If it was a 5-round fight, and that was one of the things a lot of people were saying. Everybody was like, "Oh, they were so scared of him. Everybody's scared of Hamzat Chimaev." Alhamdulillah, every time he goes, I got you. I understand that, but guess what? Usman said, "Look, hey man, Nigeria. You ever seen Nigeria? All right, let's have a fight." Yeah. So I'm with it. Usman is a clown. Let's go. Let's bring that up. Ooh. Usman is a clown. Click on that one more time, bro, for me. Let's read it. since he is not winning, it is not as good, but he is still one of the best to do.
I don't think he's a clown now. He's not. He just hasn't had opportunities to fight. Like, you know, he got the Hamzat fight and unfortunately didn't see it. I wouldn't say he's a clown. He did get to me before the knockout. He was kind of getting a little bit obnoxious talking about wanting to fight Canelo and a couple of other things. I didn't really, you know, it's not like he was wanting to fight Canelo. Man, you're a wrestler. That's who you've always been. You just, I mean, I understand he was coming off of 2 vicious knockouts of Burns and Masvidal at that point in time, but I mean, come on, you wasn't fighting.
You ain't fighting Canelo, bro. I mean, listen, and you want to fight somebody, you want some money, go fight Jake Paul. Somebody knock
right.
Please, somebody knock Jake Paul. I love Jake Paul, and we'll maybe one day we'll get into that in 2024. I love Jake Paul and what he does and how him and his brothers raised themselves up to do what they're doing. But damn, somebody hit that motherfucker,
please. He's not bad though. Like he's improving. He's improving.
No, and
Jake Paul will knock him out.
Let's be real. The fights that Jake Paul has done lately, even though he lost one, you know, he
just won on Friday night against some no-name boxer.
Yeah, he just won last week. But look, Jake Paul ain't no slouch in no boxing ring. I promise you.
Yeah, he's good. Let's get back into 296. A guy was no slouch, but is a slouch now, and that's Tony Ferguson. We said it. It's time. It's time. Tony's got to go. It's time to send him to greener pastures. He kind of doubled down that he's not retiring.
No, he's not. That's the funny thing.
But man, the UFC's got to make him retire. They can't sanction this man anymore.
Listen, I really listen. You know, kudos to Tony for being Tony, man. But this was the resurgence fight for Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, it's like you can see in how he looked and how he carried himself. Paddy wasn't playing.
I said the same thing. I think I might have messaged you, or I've said it too. It looked like a little bit more mature Paddy. Like he was quieter. Yeah. He wasn't as rambunctious and things like that. So, and it showed in the cage too. I mean, he should almost had Tony. Tony's tough to put out, and almost had Tony out a few times.
Yeah, I mean, he in a sense is saying, like, we've seen Tony be rocked, but putting Tony down, god dog, like, where's the sledgehammer? It's not happening. Like you literally have to take him out, and you know. But for what it's worth, you know, Paddy Pimblett, I want to give him kudos for adjusting whatever he had going on in his life to come back and take this fight. And once again, man, Tony Ferguson in his own right, 7-loss win streak or 7 losses in a row. You know, it makes it look bad, but that doesn't take away from what he did for the first 8 years of.
Well, he was 12-0 before that, so he had won his last 12 in a row, and just never got the Khabib fight, unfortunately. And and then it's just after during the pandemic. And then he got, when Justin Gaethje did to him, while he didn't put him down, they had to stop it because Tony just kept moving forward. But it was just.
Tony was definitely doing the zombie out there for sure. But this one right here, I was waiting on it. I was looking at the coaches. I was looking at the sideline. I was like, he's not taking his gloves off to put him on the mat. He's not.
No. Please, I was hoping. I was hoping Joe was to say, "Oh, Tony, you know what I mean?" Tony's
right. Somebody pat him on the back and go, "Yeah, just put them down, man. Put them down."
Yes, and then unfortunately, he doubles down on his Twitter, X, whatever. It says like, "Hey, I'm not retiring," and then he's gonna, if he does get another fight, he's gonna say the same thing. It was the same interview. I'm back. I've been, I did some this camp, and this camp, and blah blah blah.
I was in Big Bear, Colorado, training at 30,000.
I'm ready. You're gonna see the old Tony, and then we see old man Tony, not old Tony.
Definitely, man. Hey, look. Once again, Paddy Pimblett is trying to make a comeback, and it's not necessarily even a comeback. It's just a better appearance.
Yes,
at the division.
Who would you like to see Paddy fight next? Somebody in the rankings.
I mean, for right now, you can't throw Paddy straight in there and go, okay, let's fight Volk. You can't do that. But
he's lightweight.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't. Right. So let's go back to where I was. I'm looking at the feathers. Whoops. Let's switch it to light. So if I'm looking at light, right? All right, so we got up top. You know, Oliveira's
Well,
going
no,
to
you
have to
got
go.
he would. I'm just saying, like somebody in the 15 range. What
Yeah,
about Drew Dober or Bobby Green?
Drew. Listen, I'm thinking straight up and down, right? Somebody that we just seen lose, but I'm still somewhat of a fan of his. I like a little Dariush out there. Dariush.
He's not. Dariush is already at 7. He's got to work his way. You got to give him lower in the 15s.
I give him Dariush. I'll do it.
No,
I'll do it.
It's not.
Yeah, why not?
That's a huge jump, Whit. Huge jump.
Yeah, because we want a co-main event.
No,
you should fight anybody, and it might not be so boring.
I think if you want him a winnable fight, you give him Bobby Green.
Yeah, okay, a winnable fight.
A winnable lower level fight. Continue the build back. So you give him Bobby Green.
And the thing is, man, all right, I like the idea, but even Bobby Green is still, in my opinion, Bobby Green took that loss. I think Bobby Green was out of his element because of the whole Sarukian in the hotel lobby.
Yeah,
he was focused on fighting Sarukian. I don't think he was paying no attention.
Yeah, then Jalen Turner said you might want to pay attention to this.
Right, yeah. And I think we talked about it. I think Jalen Turner really put on like, they called me twice to take the fight. I didn't want to fight.
Yeah.
Nah, Jalen Turner was ready for that fight. But I like the Danny Green. I like the Danny Green. If I want to do something, like I said,
Bobby Green, Danny Green's basketball player.
Bobby Green. You know me, the names. Bobby Green, I like it. Further down,
our Drew Dober. I feel like everybody in the lightweight division fights Drew Dober.
Listen, you got to get Drew Dober for sure. You got to get Drew Dober in there.
So I think give him Bobby Green or Drew Dober. I think he would struggle with Drew Dober. Now Bobby, I think I'd give him a good chance.
Yeah, Bobby is more like the two sides of the coin. I think
Bobby wants to stand and bang, where Drew's a little more well rounded. I think Patty could struggle.
Got a little both sides of the stand up and the ground game for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's
get into the fight. I mean, you talked to the ladies' fight of the night, knockout of the night, and maybe possible knockout of the year. Hey, it's all. Hey, Bryce Mitchell's already living in 2024 because Josh Emmett knocked him there. He didn't knock him back. He knocked him so hard he went forward.
What? Listen, man. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Bryce Mitchell too, because hey, you come out there with the name Thug Nasty, okay, and you gotta live up to the name. But this was not his time to be Thug Nasty. He was sleep nasty, wake up nasty, turnover, anything but Thug Nasty.
Josh Turner. Bryce Mitchell thinks he's a flat earther. He woke up and thought realized the world was round because he's been around it.
Listen, he in this case, you know what I'm saying, Josh Emmett, man, like, when I watched the Topuria, I think me and you was talking then. We might have been talking about.
Yeah.
When I watched the Topuria fight, I was like, look at this guy. He's a dog. He's got heart. He's getting, drug around the ring right now, but he's gonna take out the next person. Sure enough, did. And Josh Emmett's one of those guys. Like, if you really want, he's
got heavy hands, man.
Yeah, you really want to be in that division, the most dangerous. He's like, I got the most dangerous hands in the division. You got to see Josh Emmett. So big. I'm really excited for him in his future. But man, the Bryce Mitchell on the ground, that view they had of the ref
holding his head, seizure. Yeah, he went in full on seizure.
Yeah, that was great. I got, everybody, got the social media. They got TikTok. I was looking at TikTok. He was like, to be honest with you, I woke up at the farm and I don't remember nothing. Like,
yeah. He I was gonna say in an interview, he posted on his Instagram or whatever, and said he doesn't remember anything. They woke up on the gurney, and he thanked Josh Emmett for not following up with more shots. He said, he's like, you could have really done some real damage to my brain. He said, so he's like, God blessed, him. And he said, God bless Joe Rogan. He's like, because I don't remember getting in the cage or out of the cage and talking to Dana or none of that. So he's like, and Joe was out there. Joe was screaming, don't let him walk, on commentary. Like, don't let him walk. Get him, sit him down. So,
right. Yeah. Hey, listen, Joe Rogan has been on the sideline for many fights and watched many men get knocked out. So if he says something's wrong, get him a chair. Get that guy a dang on chair, please. I mean, Joe Rogan got that alpha brain pill. He should have gave him some of that right immediately after.
Right.
Let me crank you up because you was out, bro.
Yeah.
But seriously though, Joe Rogan, although a proponent for the fight, just the fight game, just kind of just leading it on. I think that was a really cool thing. Like, hey, look, it's not just about wins and losses and guys getting knocked out. Once that bell rings, it's all about safety and sportsmanship. And Joe Rogan definitely represented that.
Josh Emmett kind of called out Max Holloway. What do you think about that? Or is that kind of what should be next for Mr. Emmett?
Now, if anybody knows me, I am a huge blessed Max Holloway fan. It's one of those things where Max Holloway going to two-piece you to death, but if Josh Emmett lands that hand, I don't know. But I like that fight. When I think about what could possibly be, of course, if anybody's in between there, like who could he fight in between if not Max Holloway? Maybe he beat Cutter one time. Cutter's Dan Ige, that's he's way out of there. Brian Ortega's somewhere still out there, right?
Yeah, but I think they're redoing. I think they're booking Yair and Ortega again.
I know Ortega's got a fight coming up for sure. I did see that, but I do like Ortega. If Max Holloway ain't doing nothing but skateboarding on an island in 2024, Max Holloway is one of those guys. Like,
Josh said like there are a couple older guys they just never ran into each other. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that fight, man. That fight would, like you said, Max with the quickness, but Emmett with the hands. And right. Max has never been knocked out. So.
And then and then mess around. It's a 3-round fight or something, and Max likes to do that thing and go, "Come on, right here, let's bang out." I love it, man. He's a real slim guy. He's like, "Damn, he won't stand and bang with me, man." So I can't wait. That sounds like a good fight to see in 2024 for sure.
I mean, Emmett would look Emmett looks like a big 145er. He's pretty big, and
when after the weight cut. The mass that he puts on probably through just putting on water, just putting that water back in his body. He's a big guy for that weight class. 146. He's probably like walking around at like 160 on accident. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, I like kudos to Josh Emmett, man. Like I said, a couple months before you and we were talking, he took a really tough loss.
His last two, he lost to Yair. Remember, he lost to Yair in the interim title, and then he lost to, like you said, he lost to Ilya.
Yeah, yep. So to have those two tough losses, but to come back with a KO like this, I mean, hey man, it makes a statement for the new year.
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah.
I rewatched it, and we got to go over the knockouts of the year on the next episode, but is going to be somewhere in there.
Yeah. Your guy, Cody Garbrandt, no love, got a nice knockout victory too. So, shout out him. You already mentioned Irene Aldana. Man, I don't know how that was a hell of a fight. Those ladies were, I just want to touch on it. And Irene, like, she was fighting on one leg because, her leg was just, it was purple,
mangled. Her leg was mangled. And
she just kept pushing forward. It was wild.
I saw it on X. They did show the after and everything, like her leg. But the thing is, the cool part was like literally they was like on pills and they was like, we okay, everybody. So I think that's cool. A lot of times, especially when we get into the fight game, a lot of guys are going, they don't like each other. But when the bell's outdone and they're out of the ring, like, screw it, dog. We don't got no contract. Like, we could be all right. Like, I think the women really exemplify that. That's some more sportsmanship that oftentimes you don't get to see. So I definitely could dig that.
Yeah, that was a fight of the year type candidate fight, man. I enjoyed that fight. There was a fight with outside of the octagon Saturday night as well. Sean Strickland and DDP get into it ringside. All the trash talk, leading up to that. But on Friday night, the seasonal, they were getting into, Sean's childhood, him and Sean O'Malley, really, and Sean took matters into his own hands on Saturday. That fight is next month. What do you make all this off? Outside, it's we already said, hey, we probably shouldn't talk about your family and childhood stuff too. I think we can lump that in. DDP kind of crossed the line.
The next thing we're gonna throw in there, we're not gonna talk about your sexuality either, because that I don't know. Let's be real. I don't know what DDP does outside of a ring, and we have seen his trainer kiss him, but I'm not going to discuss that. That's his personal business. But one of the coolest thing is that from that night that I remember, what's my guy's name? He asked, I can't remember who it is, but he asked his son. He was like, "Hey, kid."
Oh, Gilbert Burns. It was Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns. He's like, "Hey, kid, move over a little bit." Because it could have been worse. With the kid, like literally little kid. But now Gilbert Burns' son is going to remember that forever. But listen, man, sometimes you don't have to make turmoil to have a good fight. Like, that is natural. That is a natural. Oh, they got to have it out somewhere. And hopefully it'll happen in the octagon. And when it does,
it's next month. That's the main event next month.
I'm speaking as if it's not happening, but yeah, when Strickland and Duplessis actually get in there, that's just how you see. I'm still.
Oh yeah, it's going to be vital. That press conference is going to be vital. Dana said they sat him next to. He's the one that sat them next to each other. I think that text you was like, "Hey, that person's getting fired." It almost makes me think it was a work. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we got to sell this next pay-per-view, in Canada, so go out there and
And as much as we hear about Dana micromanaging other people, you don't think he looked at that list and said, screw it. They talk to each other, they talk to each other. So, but I think he probably thought, maybe some chirping, but not full blown, WWE Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't do that, but
they came to blows. Yeah, they came to blows. That'll be
Chito Vera looked like he had the most fun. All this other stuff's going on.
I love Cheeto. I'm torn on that fight. Because I like Sean. I've been a Sean O'Malley fan. But I think Cheeto is one of the top 5 coolest dudes in the world. So I just love his bravado, his chillness, and just so I'm a big Cheeto fan too, just his personality. I just think he's one of the coolest dudes in the world.
Most definitely, man. Cheeto Vera, through the pressers, through everything else, every time they come on the camera, he's like around like regular people. He's not around the other fighters. He's drinking. He's having a good time. But I'm looking forward to that one too. 2020, 2024 has really got some heavy stuff coming.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So I'm definitely interested in seeing exactly how at least 2 of these divisions are going to play out. And of course, we got some championship belts that may or may not change hands right there at the beginning of the year too.
Yeah, and we'll talk about all that stuff. We'll preview a little 2024, and we'll do a little year in review next week. We did get the announcement too over the week. I want to get your thoughts on MVP coming to UFC. He's going to take on Kevin Holland, UFC 299. That card is getting stacked as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, look, man, I was talking about PFL. You let me know, hey, bro, he's switching sides. One of the biggest attractions in PFL has been Michael Venom Page, and it's not just because of his antics when he's in the ring. Michael Venom Page is a real MMA star. I'm talking about like star quality. He's brought a bit of a different kind of flair into the ring with him with the poker balls, with the spinning kicks. And it's not to say that the competition in PFL is not, up to par with MVP. But what I don't see enough in that division in the PFL are guys that can put you on your back, take you off of your game plan, and, scramble your brain a little bit and get you thinking. MVP, Michael Venom Page, is a great stand-up kickboxing. We know that K1. We know that hands. We know that. But I haven't seen him face something, maybe not in Kevin Holland, but something like he will face in that division in the UFC, where he's gonna have to be a little bit more well-rounded. But I'm excited for him. I mean, when you want to see a box office, a co-main type of name, just like you remember how they gave Michael Chandler so much props coming in.
Yeah.
I think this is the next evolution of, hey, look, who's this guy? If you don't know, get to know him. But Michael Venom Page is coming to UFC. Kevin Holland better be on his A game. This is not a joke. It's not a test. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. That's why Kevin Holland's the best fit for him, because he's somebody that will stand and bang with MVP. So, like,
the fans with him.
Yeah, the fans that don't know, MVP, now they're going to get to know him, and he's fighting the perfect guy in Kevin Holland. That's a great first matchup. That's going to be an exciting fight, for UFC 299. That's got fight of the night type feel to it. Speaking of fight of the night, man, we got some huge boxing matches this weekend, this Saturday, and it's reported that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder signed a 2-fight deal. So after this Saturday, kind of perfect, because they're both on the card this Saturday.
Man, look, let's go ahead and talk about it. So December 23rd, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Everybody knows those United Arab Emirates guys don't play when it comes to boxing. Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wilder, 12 rounds of heavyweight. Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker, 12 rounds of heavyweight. Recently, we've kind of seen a resurgence of heavyweight boxing and coming to fruition. We can't forget about Big Baby. Big Baby's on the undercard, one of the top-ranked stars that has been, sweeping, knocking guys out, no questions asked. But one thing that I know for sure, if you know boxing, you know that Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder could not meet in the middle at least 3 or 4 years ago when they were at their peak of the powers. But, not having a belt does not mean they shouldn't fight, in my opinion. And then somewhere in there, we're going to have that Fury fight in March of 2024, of course. And then after that, one of these two gentlemen is going to have to take him on. Now, do we want to see Deontay Fury again? Maybe not. Do we want to see Joshua Fury? Maybe so. But because according to Fury, Joshua's camp was ducking him price-wise for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm in the belief that Fury wants, and Fury has the right to want money, being that he's the lineal champion, but Fury wanted too much money and to not give Anthony Joshua his fair shot. Anthony Joshua is not a slouch. Anthony Joshua had that belt for a reason. Anthony Joshua knocks cats out on the other side of the pond. So I'm excited to see what happens, but neither one of them should look beyond who they have to fight this weekend. Neither one. Don't get it twisted. They do got a 2-fight deal, but one of them, and it's not the one from Alabama, is a possibility of getting knocked out, in my opinion. But
snap!
I'm not calling the fight right now. But Anthony Joshua, if you look at Otto Wilder's resume, he's got some really good fights. He did take some tough losses, but this is the one that if Anthony Joshua is slipping, that's who will catch him before he gets Deontay. But hey, I'm excited to see it, man. Really, you know me, I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to boxing, but the heavyweight division at one point was where all eyes are, and I'm definitely onto it when it comes to this one, man. So kudos to everybody who's into boxing. We definitely got one pre-Christmas Saturday night. It's going down. Matter of fact, it's probably in the afternoon. In Saudi Arabia.
I think it is. I don't know.
3 in the afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
They're gonna be over there partying. Speaking of partying in Saudi Arabia, I just bought some of that oud, Rasasi Hawas. Yeah, I bought some. I smell like I'm in the arena right now. Okay, so make sure you check that out. Free plug. It's purple. Smells great. Rasasi, go get it.
There you go.
You can't read the bottle, but it's awesome.
You got anything else going on the rest of the week?
Listen, bro. Nah, man. I'm actually getting ready for Christmas. Bacchus, man. You know what, man? What? You in the Christmas spirit? What do you want for Christmas, man? Like, what you got in mind for your Christmas this year?
What am I doing?
Yeah, what you got in mind for Christmas this year, bro?
Man, nothing.
Just the usual, yeah, right.
The usual, brother.
Just the usual, man.
The usual.
Hey man, Christmas is coming up, so shout out to everybody. Whenever they went over the numbers for Headkicks and Haymakers, they was like we're one of the top shows on LTS, bro. So
we are, man, killing it.
Yeah, I want to say thanks for everybody who's paying attention, everybody who's liking and sharing. We really appreciate you. I damn sure do, because trust me, I've been waiting to talk about some fights that Baki gave me the opportunity. So thanks again. Keep liking and sharing. We got more in 2024, I promise.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'll be back with the boys on LTS tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. So for a Thursday night pick'em show. Other than that, over here.
I got one more thing.
Oh, go
How
ahead.
old is Scott? Scott's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he's like 65.
Okay, all right. I was close. Somebody was like, yo, he's like 72. I was like,
nah. Anyway, for me and Whit, Headkicks and Haymakers, man, we wish y'all Merry Christmas, and hope y'all don't get any hits, Headkicks and Haymakers over Christmas with the fam.
Don't get choked out. Don't get choked out.
Don't let Uncle Leroy choke your ass out, So we'll see you then. I'm going to hit that outro. We'll be back next week. Next week, we're going to do 2023 in review and maybe 2024 preview. So we might wait for the next week. Who knows? I don't know. But
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We got a whole month before we got fights again. That's kind of sad. So, but we do got the boxing this Saturday. So check that out as well. So we'll see you next week, folks.
Peace.